Welcome back to our channel, Coin Lovers. Today we're diving into one of Australia's small but fascinating treasures, the 1988 cent coin. At first glance it might just look like another piece of copper change, but in reality some of these coins can be worth big money to the right collector. In this video we'll cover the history of the 2-cent coin, why 1988 is a special year, how to identify valuable pieces, and of course the current market prices. So stick around because you might just discover that a simple old coin in your pocket could actually be a hidden gem worth far more than you imagined. Let's get started. The 1988 Australian 2-cent coin was part of Australia's post-1966 decimal series, and by 1988, it had become one of the country's most familiar pocket pieces. The denomination would soon be withdrawn from day-to-day use in the early 1990s. And millions of coins were eventually pulled and melted, which adds an interesting twist. There are still a lot of to-see coins around in the wild and in jars, but pristine, untouched examples for specific years like 1988 in true uncirculated condition are much less common than people think. For the historian in you, that platypus reverse is not just cute, it's emblematic of a design era that showcased native fauna with bold sculptural relief. For the investor in you, the big truth is this condition is king. Two coins with the same date can be worth pocket change, or a tidy premium purely based on their grade. Collectors usually say MS60, which stands for Mint State 60. On the Sheldon grading scale runs roughly from 1 to 70. Mint State means uncirculated, nowhere from being spent, but MS60 is the entry level of uncirculated. Think of MS60 as just barely uncirculated. The coin has no circulation wear, but it can show numerous contact marks, dull or patchy luster, or minor scuffs from the minting and bagging process. Above that you'll find MS61 and MS62, still a bit rough, then MS63, choice UNC MS60 for and MS65, gem and the dream grades of MS66 to MS68 where blazing luster, excellent strikes, and clean surfaces really push premiums higher. So if someone says for a 1988 to see, they're telling you the coin is uncirculated but not pretty, valuable as a type coin but not a monster dollar showpiece. The 1988 to see is a high mintage common date. Most circulated examples are worth a small collector premium at best, often under $1 a piece when sold individually. Dealers may pay in bulk by weight or by the roll. However, a genuinely uncirculated coin, especially a nice Mint State piece, can bring more. In MS60 to MS60, to think a couple of dollars in casual sales to the right. Be a MS63 to MS60 for might nudge a few dollars more, and MS65 or higher can command a stronger premium, often several dollars to low double digits if eye appeal is great and the beer base is keen, especially in slab third-party graded holders. If you're dealing with a proof strike from a government, set values vary by packaging and condition but are usually modest, unless they're top-graded with flawless mirrors. The key takeaway: the leap from circulated to true uncirculated is where the first real value step happens, and the jump from average UNC to gem UNC is where the market starts paying attention. Let's talk grading at home for your 1988 to see. Under bright diffuse light, tilt the coin and look for continuous mint luster sweeping across the high points of the design, the platypus's head and body, the water ripples and reeds, and on the obverse the highest curls of the queen's hair and the cheek. If that cartwheel luster is unbroken, you likely have Mint State. If you see flatness with a different color texture, the high points look smooth and slightly dull, that's rub, and you're probably know about uncirculated territory. Scratches are normal on older copper bronze pieces, but take note: heavier hits, dull lifeless color spots or fingerprints will push an MS coin down to MS60 or MS61. A coin with bright original color, sharp strike, minimal marks, and strong luster can push MS60 for 65 and beyond. If you're aiming to sell for top dollar, a professional third-party grading service can provide liquidity and confidence for buyers. No errors and varieties, the fun stuff that can boost value. For 1988 to see pieces, watch for general Australian decimal error types, off-center strikes, broad strikes without a complete rim-clipped plankets, curved bites out of the edge, cuts, die breaks, raised blob-like metal where a piece of the die broke away, die cracks, raised lines, rotated dies, obverse and reverse not aligned at the standard 12 to 6 and machine doubling versus true double die. Always verify Genuine dramatic examples can bring tens of dollars or more depending on severity and appeal. Subtle die cracks may only bring a small premium, but bold off-centers or big cuts can be the star of your listing. Pro tip: photograph errors with sharp raking. Light and macro focus buyers pay more when they can clearly see the feature. If you want MS60 or better to stay minty, bronze reacts it contain, which some collectors like, or spot and fingerprint, which most dislike. Handle coins only by the edges, never with bare hands. If you can avoid it, use cotton gloves or nitrile. Keep them in acid-free flips, inert capsules, or archival to buy too. And store in a cool, dry place away from humidity and rapid temperature swings. Avoid polishing. Cleaning kills value for most collectors. If you've got a candidate for grading, do not attempt to improve it. Leave any conservation to professionals. A coin that sits right on the line between AU58 and MS60 can lose that precious uncirculated status with the slightest mishandling. If you're buying, ask for clear angled photos that show luster, and the highest points straight-on shots can hide rub. Compare prices, sold not listed. Completed sales tell the truth. When selling, lotting your circulated 1988 to see with other dates can move them faster. Save your nicer uncirculated piece to sell solo with strong photos and the grade stated carefully. Uncirculated or about uncirculated. If you're not sure, never overpromise. If you have an error, coin place error, off-center, clipped planchet, etc. in the title, and add measurements or rotation degrees where relevant. And remember, the Australian market is active but seasonal. New collectors flood in after media coverage of rare coin finds. That's a good time to list. This channel is all about turning pocket change into knowledge and sometimes into profit. If you're enjoying this deep dive into the 1988 Australia to cent coin smash, like, tap subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our upcoming guides on Australian decimals, error hunting and grading shortcuts. Drop a comment if you've found a true MS65 beauty or a wild off-center. We pin the best finds and shout out our top commenters every week. Want more? Check the description. We've added a handy grading checklist, a photo guide to common errors, and links to our free spreadsheet to track your finds and values. Subscribing helps us keep producing these long-form, research-driven videos without cutting corners. The 1988 to cent coin is a common date, high mintage bronze coin with timeless Devlin artistry. Most circulated pieces have modest value, but true uncirculated MS60 and up can bring a premium, especially with top eye appeal or third-party grading. Keep your eyes peeled for dramatic errors. Those are the value multipliers. Handle carefully, store smartly, and sell with great photos and honest descriptions. Whether you're here for nostalgia, numismatic education, or the thrill of a small flip, this little platypus has lessons to teach. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and share with a friend who still has an old jar of copper coins in the cupboard. Who knows, your next gem grade to see might be waiting right there.